Welcome back, and we are going to be drawing the female side view, kind of focusing on the muscles. All right, so I'll draw her right next to the other one, and let me make some lines so we can get her, pretty close to the same height, the same proportions. So I'll line up my ruler. Light blue line there. Use her heel. It doesn't make a huge difference if you use the front of her foot, but it's just the way perspective works, right? From front angle, the front part of the foot's going to look lower. Okay. And I'm going to use my line for the top of the inside of the leg, or right at the crotch. And that's going to be my line for where the legs are. Just curious how close it is. It's pretty much halfway for me. It's almost exactly halfway. So I always think of that as a halfway point, even though in reality, legs are a little shorter, but that's pretty close. But for making idealized people, superhero-y kind of people, I think it's pretty good leg length. Okay, so once again, going to start with a gesture drawing. Since it's so like static, the pose is just, so not really doing much here. The gesture drawing really ends up being more like a really loose shape drawing, but that's okay. We'll do some practice from poses soon, and it'll be a little different. Okay, to me, it really looks like her, and even in the male pose, they're really sucking in their stomach there. So I'm just going to make it, which is putting their chest kind of a little more straight, I believe. So I'm just going to kind of make it a little more, what I think is natural, at least. All right, so then I'm going to go with the legs here, and the legs have this nice little kind of sway back. All right, legs don't go straight down. That would actually make you fall backwards. It would look like the person's going to fall back. But center balance is kind of like, not on the heel, right? It's kind of like mid-foot. So you get this little curve back like that. Okay, my knee looks like it's about in the same spot. And I'm going to pull the arms back a little bit just so we can see the body. So it'll be a little bit of an awkward pose, but I like to, for this reference, I like to see the waist and the back and all that. I'm already drawing shapes. Okay, and yeah, I know it's an awkward pose, but all right, those arms feel a little long to me. Okay. Okay. Feels about right. I'm just looking at it, kind of assessing it. Okay, so from here, I'm going to start turning these into shapes. And trying to remember where I should start. I always want to go to the head. but you should always start at the chest for the shapes. Helps the figure feel more grounded, I guess. I don't know. The balance feels a little more right. Starting with a head, the body tends to dangle from the head, and that's just not like the center of your motion and weight and everything is more like your chest. I always remember back to playing football, and the coach is always saying, watch the more watch the waist, and kind of chest. Don't watch the head or the legs or anything like that. Or arms, like, that's going to like get you juked, right? You're going to fall for a fake. But if you watch like the chest, that's kind of where the person's going to be going. Okay, so her profile, like kind of this square shape, is really helpful, I think. Kind of more like a rounded square. I almost don't really have to do much more than that here. All right, so I got my egg, right, keeping it kind of slim, cylinder, and my kind of head shape, kind of oval this way, then dropping down, jaw. We go to legs and then do arm. So you get a little bit coming out here, then the legs starting from here. So you get a little bit in front there at the lower stomach. Okay, and then we go leg shape, leg cylinder, right, which is thickest about here. And coming down to the knee, I use a sphere. Too big of a sphere. And then the lower leg cylinder, just going to be kind of like more straight, although you do have a little bit of a round right there, but very subtle. Rounded little part of the shin up there. Muscles, I believe. And then you get the back, where this is the thickest part, right? Where the calf muscle is thickest. Okay, and then we've got her heel, and I'm going to do more like kind of a triangle shape here. And I'm not going to draw the other foot, really. Okay, back up to the arm. Doing a sphere for the shoulder. Then a cylinder for the upper arm. Another joint here. The sphere. And then her arm. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Then her hand. And I know it's a little higher, but if you straighten it out, I think it would be a bit lower, more closer to that one. Since it's pulled back, it's going to be a little higher. I got a little rectangular kind of shape for her little fist that she's making here. All right. Just going to kind of look at it here, assess things. Anytime you see a problem, the sooner you deal with it, the better. Like if I don't like my leg length or something, now is the time to change anything. It's always now. So, the sooner the better. If you don't like your gesture, change it. If you don't like or do it over. If you don't like your shapes, anything about the shapes, change it. The sooner you make a change, the easier it is. The longer you get into your drawing, the more committed you are, the less likely you're going to change it, and the harder it is. Okay, so just going to mark a few things here. One, kind kind of where the clavicle is right there. I think my head's a little far forward. I'm going to move it back a little bit. Talking about changing things. Her chest here, be round, and then come up. And you're going to see where the pectoralis muscle is and goes like under the arm, under the deltoids right there. Right, and that muscle would keep going, right? But we got this ball of fat right there, covering it up. All right, rib cage. And then I'm going to come in and then out. And again, I think she's sucking in her stomach a lot because I think that, typically they see a little pooch right here. It's a round part. Her glutes coming around the outside, and putting the hamstring behind it. I'm just going to mark that a little bit. That's pretty good. Just marking a line for her eye, halfway between the top of the head and the chin. It's like I always tell my students, this is the first thing you should learn. I'm drawing the face, but even in relation to the whole body, I almost consider you got to get the eyes in the right spot. They tend to be put much higher. They're about halfway between the top of the head and the bottom of the chin. Okay, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. Going to get my kneaded eraser and lift off a lot of this pencil here. Okay, so knocked it back a bit. Now I'm going to go through the muscles. Face here. I guess I can zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Quality. It's a little pixelated at that much of a zoom. That's okay though. I think it helps a little. All right. Down her nose here. That's what I didn't mark. I didn't mark her nose and her mouth and all that. Okay, I got a profile I can work with here. Eye there. Okay, well, not that I'm in love with this hairdo I drew, but I'm trying to stay consistent. Out of everything I draw in the face, and hair is something I need to work on. Ooh, yeah, Not liking that at all. Place that ear back here, back half. All right, ear between the eye and the nose. And I know this does not look like her. I'm not really trying to make it look like her. Just trying to draw the girl, a girl. And I think I would need to be definitely drawing closer up to attempt to make it look like her for myself and whatever skill level I've got. Jaw, okay. All right, got a face and some hair coming down. Okay, moving down from there. So her neck coming down and kind of covered up here, but her traps behind coming in, meeting at our shoulder, which kind of squares off a little bit, right? A little rounded at the top here. And once again, we're going to keep our muscles more insinuated. So you got the delts wrapping around like this. And coming into the bicep. And then in the back here, we've got our triceps or deltoids here. Tricep, I'm just going to give her a little bit of a bump there. Slight muscle detail. If I start doing like more like the male like that, it's going to start getting a little, well, we'll do it and see what happens. You can always erase it, right? Because it wraps around, meets here, and then wraps around the other side of the arm. The elbow coming out between, or the bone. The elbow right here. And you got some, let's feel my arm to see what I got. Get some kind of muscle right here attaching. I'll have to look at that more closely. I'll learn more what that is. All right, got a little elbow. All right, a little dip here, right, in the arm, the elbow. And then you got this muscle here on the top of the arm. All right, coming down. And at the wrist, you got this little bump, right, where the bone kind of protrudes on both sides. And then on the back, I got kind of a longer curve, right? This one's a little more indented right here. This one kind of longer. All right, I'll just draw the fist real quickly. Start with the knuckles here on the side of the hand. Then knuckles. And the fingers. I got lost there. Okay, and then lastly, a little thumb hiding behind here. Okay. What are those tendons? But again, that might be too much detail. Gotta watch it to keep her looking feminine. All right, so we got the back rib cage kind of going around and coming around the outside here a little bit. And behind that, you've got the back muscles right there. And remember, putting things and making them look like they go in front of other things is kind of what really, I think, makes a huge difference, making the anatomy look a bit correct or believable. Okay, in the front of the chest here, going back up that way, we got the clavicle, and you got the bone kind of sticking out just a little bit there. And then kind of goes down. And we got her chest here, which goes round, which you can't see because it's covered, right? And then it goes up to the armpit there. And this round kind of thing right here, which you can't see a line there, like from this angle or anything, but I mean, it's a little more padded with fat there. But I think that's a good way to kind of think of it. I guess almost like a little tube right there. It's a pec muscle. All right, then I'm going to cover her up a little bit. And I'm just going to make it more like a sports bra kind of thing. All right, going back to the front. So we got her rib cage here. Also coming around the outside. I'm going to try see if I can draw some of these ribs. See what it looks like. Again, it might just look emaciated. It's part of the thing, just like it's communication, right? And like what we're used to seeing in drawings and how we communicate. And when you draw rib cages, just tend to look, emaciated. It's kind of a way to signal that. So tough to draw them. Okay, stomach. So coming down here for the stomach muscles and then back out again for this little pooch. And you can see a little bit on this photo here, even though I'm sure she's still sucking in her stomach. And then down. So it's kind of like, again, I'm kind of getting fooled by the sucking into the stomach here. But it's like around, stomach muscle in, and then back out again, and then in. All right, and then once we hit here, we got these muscles right behind the rib cage, like lower back muscles. And now we're going to go around for her glutes. And the muscles wrap around the outside of the leg. All right. Let's see. So you got her hip bone somewhere around here. Can't really see a little bit of it protruding on the different angle. I'm looking at another picture too. Multiple angles. And right around there. And the leg comes from here. So you got this little area rounded out or going in. And then you got her leg coming like this. So it's like down and then out. And this goes down and round like that. All right, your hips maybe a little higher. I drew it. All right, going to cover up here. Keep it decent looking, semi-decent. All right. And now we've got, okay, these quads right there. We got the hamstring coming out from behind. Let's keep this up. There we go. All right. And kind of a little round there and then in. And this kind of goes like out like this. It splits. And then creates behind it, comes the back of the knee here. This little round kind of bit there, the crease. And then the front, I've got the knee here, kind of squared it off here. Got this little split in the knee. Got this quad muscle definition there with the base of the quad, top of the knee. All right, then, so you got the back of the knee here, right, coming down, and then this kind of turns into, here's the top of our calf muscle. All right, which comes down in the round, and from behind it comes our Achilles tendon. So maybe like this, and then this come behind it. And then this goes into our ankle bone, which I drew way too big. Right in the front. So depending on how detailed you want to get and how much, it's kind of hard to do this little curve here and then straight. I usually just end up drawing it straight. A slight little curve here for this muscle that runs down. Well, there's many muscles, but showing the muscles that run down on the top of the shin. Okay, and then we're going to kind of go here and curve into our foot. We're just about done. All right, so it slopes down, and I kind of go into the big toe. And here we got round for the heel, a little bit round, right? But kind of flattens out, almost more squarish, really here. There we go. Then we got this wider part of the foot here. It's round, and then again into the pinky toe. Let me just get the toes here first, I think. I'll place them from one side. We got toes sloping down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pinky toe there. Just a little knuckle there. All right, and that's pretty much all the detail I think I'm going to add from this distance. And I'm just going to take one last look, zoom out. I think I'm pretty much done. And they're making your hips a little higher than the other. Oh, got that. Backside a little higher. You're a little shorter torso than the other one next to it. But close enough. All right, there it is.
All right, and that'll do it for the female profile. And let's do the next one, the female back.